Addison, what was the name of the story? Or at least tell me what the story was about, some main points of the story. No, it wasn't an empty pot. Anybody else remember? Remember, it was the rotten, red-headed older brother. Right, and so who was telling the story? Because we were talking about narration yesterday. Sophia. The little girl. She was telling the story. What was she saying? Was mean to her. Okay, so let's look at our papers. Who's telling the story in the Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel? So let's pull that up. So we're going to look at page 3. Mike Mulligan had a steam shovel, a beautiful red steam shovel. Her name was Mary Ann. Mike Mulligan was very proud of Mary Ann. He always said that she could dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week, but he had never been quite sure that this was true. So who's telling this story? Xavier. Mike Mulligan. Okay, so remember some of the key words that we look for when people are telling the story, when narrators are telling the story, is my, I, we, and me, right? Do we see any of those words here in this story, in this text?
Nope.
So that lets us know what? That Mike's not telling the story. So who do you think is telling the story? Right. No, we decided Mike Mulligan wasn't telling the story because usually what happens, remember we see my, I, me, and we. Let's see. Addison, who's telling the story? So remember I said we talked about at least 2 words yesterday, narrator and author. And remember I said that sometimes the narrator can be the author.
The narrator is the author.
The narrator's the author. How do you know that?
Because he said, hey, Mike Mulligan.
Okay. Do we see the word my in here? Do we see the word I?
No.
Do we see the word we?
No.
Or me?
No.
So that's how we know the author is telling the story, right? Okay, so let's go to our first sheet. So it says, circle the words the narrator uses to tell this part of the story. So remember, we're looking for words like I, me, my, and we, right? So let's see. So we're going to circle in number 1. Who is telling the story? It's the author, right? And who is he talking about? Mike. So circle the words the narrator uses to tell this part of the story. So circle either Mike Mulligan or I that the author is talking about. Who is the author talking about? Put your hand down, just circle. On your paper, circle who Mike is talking about. Number 1, circle who the author is talking about. Number 2, so the author is talking about Mike and somebody or something else. So in number 2, circle who the author is talking about. My name, her name. How does he address that second person? Mike Mulligan had a steam shovel, a beautiful red steam shovel. Her name was Mary Ann. Thumbs up when you're done with number 2. Number 3, circle the words again. Number 3, who was he proud of? Proud of me or proud of Mary Ann? Proud of me or proud of Mary Ann? So now we're gonna look for more clues. Who is the narrator? So remember, did you hear the words I, me, my, or we?
Yes.
So who is the narrator? Right? Who is the narrator? Who is the narrator? Who is the narrator? Who's telling the story? Author, let's see. See it anywhere. Nope. Author is spelled A-U-T-H. Author. Now you want to make sure you put it into a sentence. So if you're putting it into a sentence, you want to say, it is Mike Mulligan. It is the steam shovel. It is the author.
It's a car. How do you spell girl?
Girl.
G-I-R-L.
Girl.
You can just look over there.
R-L.
On the body. There you can put
Okay, you got about 1 minute. All right, turn your paper over. We'll find some time later if you haven't finished it. So the same thing with the empty pot. So who could tell me a little bit about the empty pot? Just skim over a little bit. Elliot.
The boy likes flowers.
The boy likes flowers. Can anybody else tell me something? Yeah.
The boy couldn't grow flowers because it was
The boy couldn't grow flowers because it was turning winter. Okay. Let's read over a little bit. Long time ago in China, there was a boy named Ping who loved flowers. Anything he planted burst into bloom. Up came flowers, bushes, and even big fruit trees, as if by magic. Everyone in the kingdom loved flowers too. They planted them everywhere, and the air smelled like perfume. The emperor loved birds and animals, but flowers most of all, and he tended his own garden every day. So, who is the who's speaking here? Is there a narrator? Is Ping talking? Is the emperor talking? Heaven. Ping is talking.
Yeah.
Do we see the word my or I in this? As I was reading, did you hear me say I or my or we?
No.
Okay. So is Ping telling the story?
No.
So who was telling the story? Macy. The author. How do we know that? Macy. Okay. And we don't see the word or I or we, right? Okay. So for our sheet, for our worksheet, it says circle the words the narrator uses to tell this part of the story. Number 1, my name is Ping, or a boy named Ping. Did you see my name is Ping? Or is the author talking about a boy named Pink? Circle which one is correct. Yes. Well, yeah. Number one. Is it my name is Pink or a boy named Pink? What words does the narrator tell? Number two, he planted or we planted? He planted or we planted? What words does the author use to tell this story? And then number three, my emperor or the emperor? My emperor or the emperor? Okay. Then the last question is, we're looking for more clues. Who is the narrator? Who is the narrator? Put your hand down, just write it for me. Who is the narrator? Author. Who is the narrator? Okay, so now we're going to split up into groups, and we're each going to have a book. Once you get into your groups, I'll let you know what information I want you to write. Okay? So we have Della, Tarek, Sophia, Aiden, and Macy. Your group is the red-headed, the rotten red-headed older brother. Della, Tarek, Sophia, Aiden, and Macy. You guys can meet on the carpet in the back. Riley, Alex, Xavier, Damien, King. You guys are the polar bear. So Della,
We turn this in? No.
Isabella, Addison, Anastasia,
Miss Lockhart. Miss Lockhart. These are both at the back. I'm gonna ask her.
Isabella, Addison, Anastasia, Mia. You guys are the Mike Mulligan. Okay.
Okay.
Juan, Kevin, Kaden, Elliot, Ezra. You guys are the Hot.
And they're both in the back.
So sit here. Let's see. Isabella, Addison, Anastasia, and Mia. So you're over here with them.
Mia's not here.
Damien, you're with Riley. Riley, you're sit here. Okay. so this is what you're gonna do. So Della, you are the group writer. Tarek, you're the group spokesperson. Xavier, you're the group spokesperson. And Riley, you're the group writer. Isabella, you are the group writer. And Addison, you are the group spokesperson. Okay? Jaquan, you're the group writer. And Heaven, you're the group spokesperson. So this is what you're going to do. Listen very carefully. Listen carefully. Alex, you can't hear me if you're talking. Kaden, you can't hear me if you're talking. So first, I want you to write the title of the book. The title of the book. Second, who is the author? Who is the author? Number one, title of the book. Number two, who is the author? Number three, who are the characters in your story? How can you hear me if you're talking? So one, the title of your book. Two, who is the author? Three, who are the characters? And then four, who's telling the story? Who's telling the story? Jaquan, did your group get that? Repeat back to me what I want. Repeat back to me what I want you to write. Elliot, hold on. Did you remember what I said?
Heaven says she don't want to.
Is it okay if she writes? Because he's the writer. Okay. So one, who is title? What's the title of the book? So how do we know what the title of the book is? How do we know? Okay. So how do we know who the author is? Okay, but we see a name at the bottom. So let's just assume this is the author of the book. So you're gonna write author. Here's the author right here. Let's see. So you can read a few of the pages to jog your memory to remember what the story is about. Because my next question is, who are the characters in the story? All right. So what was the questions that I asked? What do I want? What do I want? So tell me what the title is. What's the title of the book? Polar bear. So that's the title. So that's what you write first. Polar bear son. Polar bear son. The polar bear son. Right, what you see. The polar bear son.
I know how to spell it.
And then how do we know who the author is? How do we know who the author is? Right here. This tells us who the author is. By Lydia Davenport. So first you want to write the title. Get down and then I'll come back.
Wait, I have an idea. Give me the book. I just found something. More writing. I already checked. What title? That's the title. Yeah, that's the title. She already spelled. That's 50. swap. You can just copy the Miss Lockhart, they keep fighting the book.
Here I come. Here I come. Here I come. Here I come. So do we have the title? Do we have the title of the book? Have a seat. Ezra, move in. Ezra, move in. Move in. You all are not being a team. What happened is you're not going to be able to.
Okay. Oh, The Office by Lizzie. By Lizzie Day? No. Could you tell me?